Noah Cutler, born September 19, 2004. Noah Cutler is a 5'10" guard who first blew up as a kid for copying Steph Curry's warm-up and building one of the earliest viral basketball followings off pure skill work and confidence. For a while, it looked like the exposure would carry into the real system, but as the game got bigger and more athletic, his role had to change from featured scorer to traditional point guard, and the separation he once had disappeared. Today, he's playing college basketball at Alma College, not as a mixtape star, but as a rotation guard, a reminder that internet fame and basketball development don't always grow at the same speed. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know who I should do next. Noah Cutler's story begins as an undersized guard from Fort Myers, Florida, who became nationally known before high school through social media under the name Babybirdman. Training in small gyms and filming detailed workout sessions, he built a following off advanced ball handling, deep shooting range, and a pregame routine modeled after Steph Curry. What separated him from most young players wasn't AAU rankings or tournament circuits, it was visibility. His skill work and confidence on camera made him one of the earliest examples of a young guard becoming famous strictly through development clips. That exposure led to a defining moment in his early basketball life. During the height of Steph Curry's rise and the Golden State Warriors' championship era, the organization got wind of a young kid going viral online for perfectly mimicking Steph Curry's warm-up and decided to feature Noah at a game, highlighting his routine and story. He met Steph Curry in person, warmed up on the court, and was showcased in a Warriors-produced video that has since accumulated over 38 million views on YouTube to date. For a young kid, that kind of spotlight was unprecedented. His name was no longer just circulating on basketball pages, it was now attached to the most influential player in the game at the time. As he moved into high school at Gateway Charter, the attention followed him. But while the viral moments defined his early rise, his path forward depended on in-game performance, physical growth, and how his skill translated within structured competition. The spotlight introduced him to the basketball world. The next phase required proving himself within it. Stunt number 1, the viral separation disappeared. What made Noah Cutler famous at 11 and 12 was the separation his skill created compared to players who simply hadn't seen that level of ball handling and shooting confidence at that age. The handle was tighter, the range was deeper, the workouts were more detailed, and because it was all happening on camera, every rep looked like proof that he was ahead of the curve. Playing up in age only added to the image. When a smaller kid is controlling the pace against bigger players in open runs, it feels like the beginning of something special. In that stage of development, skill maturity can outweigh physical maturity, and Noah had years of it built up before most guards his age even took training seriously. The shift came when everyone else caught up. By the time he reached high school, the advantage that once made him viral was no longer unique. Other guards had tightened their handles, the shooting range became normal, strength, length, and speed started to matter on every possession, and the game stopped being about who had the most advanced workout package and became about who could create real separation against defenders with similar skill and better physical tools. That didn't mean his game regressed, it meant the context changed. The freedom that built his name, unlimited dribbles, space to experiment, and the ability to play through mistakes was replaced by role responsibility, pace control, defensive assignments, and decision-making under pressure. The things that don't trend online started determining value on the floor. Without a physical leap to maintain the same visual gap he once had, the viral identity and the real basketball role began moving in two different directions, and from that point on, his development was about fitting in and earning minutes. At the college level, that reality became even clearer. Every guard on the roster had been the best player somewhere, every possession was scouted, and the margin for error shrank. Now, separation came from running a team, defending your position, and making the right read under pressure, turning the daily challenge into proving he could contribute within a system. Stunt number 2, the recruiting reality. As Noah moved through high school at Gateway Charter in Fort Myers, the internet fame didn't automatically convert into recruiting traction. The name was still recognizable, but college programs don't recruit based on mixtapes. They recruit based on projection of how everything about you physically translates to the next level. and projection is built on size, physical tools, production, and how a player fits into a system long term. During his varsity years, Noah wasn't treated like a national prospect. He wasn't ranked among top guards in his class, and he wasn't a regular on the high major AAU circuit. Instead of being evaluated as a future D1 difference maker, he was viewed more as a skilled but undersized guard whose ceiling would depend heavily on role and physical development. That distinction matters. In high school, being known and being recruited are two completely different lanes. As graduation approached, the reality became more clear. There wasn't a wave of Division I offers waiting. The viral label didn't override scouting reports that questioned how his game would translate against bigger, faster athletes with more natural talent over a full season. At 5'10", and that's being extremely generous, as I don't think he's 5'10" at all. Without elite burst or overwhelming physical tools, programs at higher levels were cautious. The attention he once had online didn't hold the same weight in recruiting rooms. That's how the path led to Alma College, a Division III program where he would have the opportunity to continue playing while pursuing academics rather than waiting on a scholarship that might never come. It wasn't a dramatic fall, it was a recalibration. Instead of chasing the version of his story that once felt destined for the highest level, he chose the route that kept him on the floor. This was the moment where the gap between viral fame and reality of basketball projection fully showed itself. The spotlight had introduced him to the world, but the recruiting process evaluated him through a different lens, and that lens ultimately shaped and will continue to shape where his career would continue. Stunt number 3, the college adjustment. By the time Noah arrived at Alma College, the expectations were different from the ones attached to his name years earlier. He wasn't walking in as Babybirdman. He was a freshman guard trying to earn trust in a Division III program where jobs are on the line and coaches don't care about how many likes and followers you accumulated as a kid. The viral identity didn't carry weight in practice, production and reliability did. Being a viral star may bring a few more fans to the game, but between those lines it can actually work against you, as you'll be sure to receive everyone's best shot on both ends. As a freshman, he appeared in over 20 games and started a handful, averaging limited minutes while putting up modest numbers, around 3 points per game, a couple of assists, low shooting percentages, nothing eye-popping, but those numbers tell a different story than a highlight ever could. His role wasn't to dominate, it was to manage possessions, defend his position, and limit mistakes. Instead of being a primary creator, he became a piece within a structure at the D3 level. Nevertheless, at the college level, possessions move faster and shrink quicker. Help defenders are disciplined, closeouts longer, and passing lanes disappear. For an undersized guard, every mistake is amplified because there's no physical cushion to recover. That forces a different type of development, tighter reads, quicker decisions, and smarter pacing. The game becomes less about how many moves you have and more about when to use one. Freshman year wasn't a breakout, it was an adjustment. The freedom that once built his name had been replaced by accountability. Playing time had to be earned daily, and impact had to show up in ways that don't trend. Ball pressure, communication, and tempo control. It's a shift most viral players never have to confront publicly because many don't stay in the system long enough to face it. Now the story isn't about whether he becomes a star, it's about how he adapts. From internet phenom to college role guard, the path tightened, and in that tightening, the game stopped being about attention and flat out became about how good is he really. All in all, Noah Cutler did what any kid who genuinely loves the game and puts in the time would do when they develop ahead of their peers. That early separation led to an opportunity to meet his idol, Steph Curry, and gain the kind of national attention most young players never experience. It just so happens we live in a viral social media age that created an expected arc for his basketball life that he was never physically built to meet. It's not easy transitioning from a viral prodigy who hasn't filled out yet into a bona fide high school prospect after being known for looking so advanced. The expectations alone make that shift heavier, especially in a space where everyone is constantly searching for the next big star, from fans to the NBA to talking heads who need content. No, he didn't become the next Steph Curry, not even close, but you and I know his name. And in the basketball world, filled with thousands of talented guards who never get seen at all, that still says something. Salute, much respect. I wouldn't say his growth was stunted, but for these reasons, he wasn't built to be what many expected. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.